Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the law. This is your legal light. It is your help law. And here, as we do every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m., we shine clarity on the rules that shape our lives and empower you with knowledge to protect your rights. And this afternoon, I'm fortunate to be joined by Daniel Yawabedu, barrister, solicitor, and notary public. Notary public. That's the subject we are looking at today, whose recent book on notarial practice has sparked renewed interest in this ancient legal office. Daniel, good afternoon and welcome to the law.
Thank you, Samson.
Right.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. So we are asking a very simple question. The notary public, notaries, is it just the seal of truth, or really the seal of truth, or just a stamp? Is it just a stamp or the seal of truth? Some may say notary public are silent gatekeepers, or sometimes they are legal middlemen. Who are they? When you needed to change your name, do you remember the process that was gone through? The notary public was very present in that. When you went to that bank and they said there was some issue and you needed some affidavit of sort to change something in your record, do you recall how that was done? And when you lost your precious documents, certificates, and yet you still needed to present one that will be accepted as the original, you needed it certified, certification. The notary public was present. You go to the court's premises and you see commissioners for oath. They are not the same. So we'll get to find out what the difference is. Once again, welcome to the law. It's your legal light. It is your help law. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. This is the law. It's your legal light. It is your help law. So, Daniel, we begin with the very basics. Who is a notary public? And Daniel is a notary public, and he authored this book, Notaries, Notaries Public Practice in Ghana. The Law, Cases, and Material. Daniel Yawabedu, Notaries Public Practice in Ghana, the law, cases, and materials. This is so heavy, 1,400 plus pages. So we're dealing with the right person. Who is a notary public in Ghana?
The office of the notary actually is an ancient legal office.
Okay.
And permit me to affirm that by this quotation, then I will box on.
Okay.
You see, it is generally recognized that the office of notary is one of great antiquity. The notarial practice is one that has been acknowledged since ancient times. And as Lord Eldon will have us to believe, his office has due recognition in all civilized countries. And by the law of nations, his acts have credit everywhere across the globe.
The Notary Public's acts have credit all over the world.
Precisely. All over, beyond borders. The office of notary public in our context, in our jurisdiction, is office to which only the Chief Justice can appoint a person to. And the office is one to which, upon appointment, you are tasked to perform specific duties. Validation of documents.
Only the Chief Justice.
Only the Chief Justice
can appoint a lawyer, right?
Precisely.
To the office of notary public.
Exactly.
You must first be a lawyer.
You must first be a lawyer. We will come to that
okay.
down as we move on.
All right.
to validate documents, to administer oaths.
Validate documents, administer oaths.
And in the context of the totality of your functions, make sure that you are preventing fraud. Very important. The act of the notary carry legal weight, not only within the jurisdiction, but internationally, beyond our borders.
Explain that.
That is to say, there are certain things which, for example, the Commissioner for Oaths, if he does have consequences locally here in Ghana, but for it to take effect beyond the borders, those things must be done by the notary.
For example?
For example, if you ask for a power of attorney to be prepared for you, for use outside the jurisdiction, say UK, Australia, US, it must be notarized by a notary public for its acceptance beyond the borders in those countries. If it is done by a commissioner for oaths, forget it. It is of no consequence as far as those police are concerned.
Since you mentioned commissioner for oath, let's right away try to make a distinction between the notary public and the commissioner for oath, because many confuse the notaries with the commissioners for oath. What's the difference?
Yes. Both of them, whether a commissioner for oath or a notary public, are all appointed by the Chief Justice. The notary public is appointed by virtue of the Notaries Public Act. The commissioner for oath is appointed by virtue of the Judicial Service Regulations of 1963. But the commissioner for oaths, though appointed also to administer oaths, his work has consequences within the jurisdiction here in Ghana and not beyond.
That's the first difference.
That's first.
And the major difference.
The major difference is that of the notary public has relevance not only within the jurisdiction, but also beyond the jurisdiction internationally. But in addition, there is so much that is part of the functions of the notary public which the commissioner for oaths cannot do. And as we probably go down...
Both are appointed only by the Chief Justice.
By the Chief Justice.
But as you noted at the beginning, for one, you must first be qualified as a lawyer.
Precisely. When we come to talk about the appointments and the enrollments, I'll probably clarify that further.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So let's go there right away. The appointment and the enrollment of, the notary public.
Yes. It is by virtue of the Notaries Public Act of 1960, Act 26, that the Chief Justice exercises his power to appoint somebody to be a notary public. And the law provides that any person the Chief Justice may consider to be fit and proper to discharge the duties assigned to that office by law or by the practice of commerce, he may exercise that discretion or that duty to so appoint. But in the case of the appointment of notaries, you must first be a lawyer. A lawyer, yes, but you must, in the exercise of the Chief Justice's opinion and discretion, be one who is fit. And proper. And I can explain.
So being a lawyer alone is not sufficient?
It is not sufficient.
Okay.
One, you must at least be at the bar minimum 10 years.
10 years means you are even qualified to become a justice of the High Court.
Precisely. That is to say. Then you must be a fit and proper person. To be a fit person, that is to say, you must have acquired so much experience that enables you to be able to perform the functions of the office of the judge.
How does the Chief Justice ascertain your fitness and properness to be appointed as a notary public, as a lawyer first?
Yeah, that is a good question. As part of the processes of the appointment and enrollment of a notary, you file your application. Your application must be supported by your CV. But it doesn't end there. It is supported by all your documentation in terms of your certificates, having been called to the bar, blah, 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 and all those things. But an examination of your background follows at the instance of the Bar Association, at the instance of the General Legal Counsel, and I'm even told that the various security agencies are also tasked to inquire and investigate into your background to make sure that indeed, there is no issues of immorality,
Because what you do must be credible.
Precisely.
It goes beyond the borders of this country.
Precisely. So at the end of the day, before you are appointed, there must be a certain understanding and or appreciation that, oh yes, for now you have passed the test of fitness and properness, no questions of immorality stand against you. No question of dishonesty is lurking behind the scenes against you, and that yes, professionally you are fit to be appointed as a notary public.
Sort of, you must be, and because of your background, you must be a person beyond reproach.
Absolutely. So that when they lift the veil and go behind it, there should be nothing lurking behind. In terms of morality or immorality.
Why is that a requirement for someone who will be a notary public?
It is a critical requirement. And why do I say so? You are in as a notary public to authenticate documentation,
right?
To validate documentation. In some instances, to say that, oh yes, of a truth, this thing is correct. This document is true. Oh, this document is indeed a proper copy of that which I have examined, so on and so forth. Vouching for truth, vouching for correctness, vouching for honesty. You yourself, you must pass that test. Also because that which you are doing, your act, will go beyond the borders and it must be acceptable. And so there must be no issue of dishonesty, fraud, illegality attaching to that which you do.
Right. We'll get into the details of what the notary public do, and then we'll definitely have an opportunity where you will also join us to ask your questions to Daniel. But now that we have looked at the common functions between the notary public and the commissioners for oath, you have been mentioning, administering oaths. You are also involved in statutory declarations. You mentioned authenticating and validating documents. You are required to be witnessing signatures, among other things. Let's know the full gamut of what the notary public does, and then we'll get to know individual items, what exactly they are.
All right. Before we get there, something, would you permit me to briefly take a look at the status of the notary?
Please do.
Legally, because
please do.
It is a function of what it is that the notary does, blah, 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 and all that. You see, if you are a notary, because you are a lawyer before you became a notary, by the Legal Profession Act, as a lawyer, you are an officer of the court. Then, by virtue of the Legal Profession, Professional Conduct and Etiquette Rules of 2020, LI 2423, you are, as a lawyer, an officer of the legal system with great responsibility upon you to assist in the search for delivery of quality justice. And the Notaries Public Act also affirms and says that a notary public is an officer of the court. And Samson, these have grave implications, that status. Beyond that, the anti-money laundering legislation of 2020, Act 1044, also imputes upon lawyers and notaries the status, quote unquote, as accountable institutions.
Accountable institutions.
Accountable institutions. And that also, by virtue of that position, carries with it certain obligations. Maybe I can begin with that.
Right.
In terms of the implications of this status.
That's right.
By virtue of the anti-money laundering legislation, you are under obligation to keep certain specified records, because the Financial Intelligence Center can charge on you and ask you to produce them.
That's right.
Secondly,
this same sort of role they assign to banks, accountable institutions, so that if someone is doing some transactions and they are suspicious as a bank, they are supposed to report to the Financial Intelligence Center. And that is what normally would trigger the process of freezing people's accounts, and then you having to come to explain the source of your money if they find it suspicious. If you are unable to explain, it may go to a court where you will have to go and justify why they will freeze it, and you have to show why it should be frozen. It should be unfrozen. Right.
Yeah, sure. So that clearly tells us the critical role of the notary in helping the authorities in dealing with anti-money laundering issues and related matters. You also have an obligation to supply information that may be requested by the Financial Intelligence Center. And thirdly, also, you have an obligation to respond to certain monitoring orders that may be issued by the court. So that is that. But generally, as an officer of the court, as an officer of the legal system, you must exhibit commendable professional conduct. You must be seen to demonstrate civility, honesty, integrity. In the exercise of your functions, you must be seen to desist absolutely from whatever is false, misleading, whatever is fraudulent, illegal, or anything that is calculated, as it were, to be prejudicial
saintly expectations
to the administration of justice.
Saintly expectations on mere mortals to do work and get money.
Absolutely. So, honestly, let me say that being a notary is not for the faint-hearted.
That's right. Yeah, from the list you are giving us. So let's go through the things you do. Administering oath, statutory declarations, authenticating and validating documents, witnessing signatures. Tell us give us the lists. We know we can't have a comprehensive, a complete list, yes, okay. But give us a list, and then we begin to explain each of the items in that list.
Okay. Okay. As a notary public, you are empowered to administer oaths, affirmations, statutory declarations, empowered to validate documents, including document legalization. You have a role to play there. Attestation of documents, certification of documents, verification of documents, taking of acknowledgements, witnessing signatures, noting and protesting bills of exchange, negotiable instruments, preparing and executing legal documents as a lawyer and, of course, as a notary. People forget that it is not
just do the list. We'll come to each one of them.
You are also under an obligation to keep a register of all the notarial acts which you perform.
All right.
Also, you are under an obligation to verify identities, not only with respect to clients who appear before you, but also with documentation to prevent fraud. As part of your duty also, you are empowered by the Notaries Public Act to refuse to act when you suspect fraud or illegality.
Refuse to act.
Precisely. And we will say what happens when you refuse to act.
Right.
Constitutionally, sorry.
That's a tall list. So maybe let's take this list one by one.
Yes, okay.
Some of the things you have mentioned from the very beginning, you know, administering oaths and all of that. Explain to us. You take one, you explain, and be brief about it so that we can get into more of your work and get our viewers to also ask their questions.
All right. When it comes to administration of oaths, in contentious proceedings, affidavits, for example, are critical. And so, for purposes of various applications which may be made in contentious proceedings, there's the need for affidavits to support the applications. And these affidavits must be on oath. The deponents must, as it were, ascribe to the thing that they are saying, and it must be on oath to say that, yes, what they are saying is true. And these must be taken before Commissioner for Oaths.
Because what you are doing is on oath, there are implications.
There are implications.
If it is found out that the things you have put on paper and you are swearing that those things are true, if they are found not to be true, then you will suffer the implications.
Then you suffer the consequences.
Next.
Statutory declaration, same. I mean, you want to, as it were, declare certain state of facts, not necessarily for judicial proceedings. Your document is lost, you've changed your name, whatever, any of these things. You come by way of statutory declaration. These things may be done before the notary public.
You are saying that I can lose my documentation,
yes,
and then with the help of the notary public,
yes,
it can be deemed that they are not lost, or what?
You come narrating the circumstances under which you think that you've lost your documents, and so declare that those things which you have said in the statutory declaration are true. And then the notary public
will notarize it. So that it will be recognized anywhere you go with the statutory declaration.
Absolutely.
That, in fact, you had a particular document, but you lost it.
Absolutely.
All right? So that the effect you would have suffered by loss of the document is cured.
Precisely. That is to say, yes.
That's like magic.
Yes.
And then you mentioned statutory declaration in respect of change of name.
Correct.
I think that may be very common, people are familiar with. What does that entail?
Yeah, you see, if it is not for purposes of court proceedings, if you want to, for something, for some reason, over the years, your name may have been changed. For example, you've gotten married, you are a female, so you've picked the name of your husband, and you want to write your documentation, as it were, You don't come by affidavit. You come properly by statutory declaration, narrating the circumstances that has led to your
That
name
now
change.
you are married and you have
Precisely.
taken on your husband's
Precisely.
surname.
Precisely.
Or that you are married and you are taking on your wife's surname.
Precisely.
I thought that all we knew was that once you go through the wedding ceremony, then you are Mrs. and you have the name.
There are some who proceed beyond their marriage, whether they are married under the ordinance or whether they are married under customary law, they proceed with their maiden names. They are free so to do.
Okay.
But there are others also who may want to pick the name of their husband. So that is permissible. But for purposes of consistency, for example, in their place of work, or they are doing some application, and it is such that their old names on their certificates must be brought at par with their new name and all those things, then it will become necessary to make a statutory declaration of the change of.
So they would have had certificates when they were not married.
Precisely.
And so now they are married and they want to adopt their husband's name or their wife's name.
Yes.
Then the statutory declaration helps to bring that at par with their previous document.
Precisely.
What are the main words in that kind of statutory declaration that preserves their old name so that there's no problem?
All right. So, for example, you come by telling us on paper, as part of the declaration, when you were born, your nationality, the name you were given by your parents. Then you continue to tell us how come you have changed your name and why and the circumstances, and telling us that now this is the name you want to go by.
So now...
And tell us also, as part of the declaration, that notwithstanding the change of name, all your former documents remain valid.
Valid. Yes. Good. So now you want to be known by this new name.
Precisely.
But all your other documents which do not have this additional name remain valid. It is a statutory declaration which is subsequently gazetted.
Yes.
That you will use for all of these without any problems.
Without any problems.
Great. That's when you are getting married. But when you are not getting married or something of you are not married or something, and you still need to change your name. There are people who necessarily find themselves in situations where they have to change their name.
Okay. Excuse me. For example, you were christened Kofi at birth, and throughout school, that's the name you have used. In fact, Kofi is what is on your certificates. By the time you were entering law school, something happened, and your name changed, or you changed your name. You see, so by virtue of that change of name, and for purposes of consistency, if beyond law school you need to do something which will require a clarification of how come and why your name is changed, then you need a statutory declaration.
Statutory declaration, and you need a notary public at all costs to get this done.
In particular, if the purpose of the documentation is to take effect beyond the borders.
Right.
Some may go to a commissioner for oath, but for purposes of the commissioner for oaths, the consequences of what they will do
you have said that
will have effect.
It's only
locally.
limited in this country. Yeah. Thank you very much. And for a certain purpose, I always insist on having a notary public doing it. Because you may say, you may need it later, beyond the shores. Yeah. But even beyond that, the notary public, appears to give it that sort of seal. So, for example, myself, my Anyanini, it was brought to my attention that I used to spell it wrongly.
Yes. And
it had become, it was in all my previous documentation. It used to be A-Y-E-N-I-N-I. And then a police officer met me and said, I've been listening and hearing your name mentioned and spelled, but I think you're wrong. And he comes from where I come from. So he took me through and said, this is how it's supposed to be spelled. In our language, this is how it is spelled. So you need to get it properly spelled and properly pronounced.
Yes.
So it is A-N. I couldn't effect the A-N on my own.
Sure.
I needed to have a notary public do a statutory declaration and then have it gazetted. So you guys are very important.
Yeah, and that was the proper approach.
All right.
Fortunately, were you a lawyer then when you were doing it?
Before I was not a lawyer.
Yeah, okay.
I was actually doing my first degree.
But you took the right step.
That's right.
There are many who will just walk to the commissioner for oaths, for this sort of.
Right.
Yeah, but for what the step you took is the appropriate step.
Okay.
Which you took.
All right. So beyond that, you talked about attestation and confirmation or something. Okay. They sounded similar, and yet you were differentiating them.
Yes. Yes.
Validating
of documents
and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. You know, when it comes to, it looks as if the line between them tends to be very thin, but we'll see how it goes.
All right.
You see, to authenticate is the act of proving that something, for example, a document, is true or genuine.
It's authentic.
It's authentic, you see.
So if the document is authentic already, why do you need someone else to authenticate it?
You see, you for purposes, it depends upon the purpose for which you want this thing done. See, for example,
there are embassies, there are foreign countries where you go to, and they demand that this your document, we want it authenticated.
Or application to foreign universities and all that, and your certificates.
Right.
They must be authenticated.
Okay.
And duly notarized.
Correct.
By a notary. You know, so that's when
the notary public comes in. All right.
Okay. Then there is attestation also, which involves certifying the validity of a document and also the signatures on it.
Attestation.
Yes. You know. And in other words, you will be bearing witness to the fact that, this document and the signature on it is okay, it's genuine, it can pass.
All right.
You know, it amounts to certifying the validity of the truth of the document. You know, that's attestation for you. Then certification. Certification also, you are literally saying that the individual document that is placed before you is genuine and not forged. You have certified that this document I'm having in my hands, I hold in my hands, is the true copy of the original. I have looked at them, I have compared them, and I've examined them, and I realized that, indeed, it is a true copy of the original. That's certification,
right,
for you. You know. Then verification is all part of the process of validating a document.
Right.
Verification, it is more or less a confirmation of correctness or truth or authenticity, but it is literally like it is on oath or by deposition, you know. If you are verifying...
The notary public, you are taking a lot of responsibility on yourself. You're doing things, you are attesting, you are confirming, you are verifying, you are validating, and making the world believe in other people and the documents they are carrying. These people, must you know them from birth? Must you be there when they procured a particular document to be able to authenticate that this is what it is?
Yeah, that's a very critical question, Samson. Look, and that brings us to the huge responsibility upon the notary to undertake due diligence.
Due diligence.
Due diligence with regard to the identity of the
clients.
person who has appeared before you and asking for the notarial service to be delivered. The person's background. You do so, if you do not know him or her from Adam, you do so by examination of the person's identity documentation. Say his Ghana card or his passport or whatever, you know, and examine them. And
if they bring a certificate, because a foreign country wants the certificate authenticated before they can accept it. If they bring that certificate, basically, how will you verify? What will you go through before you put your stamp and your seal? You have a special seal, right? That red seal.
Yeah, that's the legal seals.
Yes, you put it on it. Yes. That shows the whole world that it is actually authentic.
Yes.
How will you go about that?
So the due diligence is at two levels. Level one is with regard to the identity, to the extent that you must satisfy yourself the guy before you is not impersonating.
Okay.
He's not perpetrating fraud on you.
Right.
The other level is with regard to the documents that have been brought before you. You may have to examine them thoroughly, satisfy yourself. Sometimes you may not necessarily just go ahead straight away and then work on it. You may have to give yourself some time and do some background checks.
So that's what I'm asking. For example, the person has a university certificate.
Yes.
They're going to school elsewhere, yes. And the other country, and they often do, want a notary to authenticate that document. Yes. It could even be that what they have is only a photocopy. Yes. They have lost the original.
Yes.
And they want the photocopy to represent the original. How do you go about it?
Yeah. The person comes and he doesn't have the original. If, for example, he doesn't have the originals already in soft form, I will ask you first, as a preliminary step, to indicate to me that you've truly lost the original.
Okay.
And you may come by way of statutory declaration to declare and to attest to the fact that you have lost the original. And that will be the basis upon that information, upon which I may go ahead and ask it to notarize this.
But the background you speak about will include, say, checking with the particular institution, if indeed the person was ever there.
Precisely.
Or that you could ask them to show you their classmates.
Yeah, you do all kinds of things. People who can attest, or, as it were, confirm this or that for you.
So we are activating the phone lines now, as we always do. You can call us and then put your questions directly to Daniel Yawabedu, who is a lawyer, practicing lawyer, and also a notary public. He's the author of this very fresh book. It's a book that was adored some months ago, Notaries, Public Practice in Ghana, the Law, Cases, and Materials. That's almost 1,500 pages. It tells you the volume of work they have to do. And actually the foreword by Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Tokono, there's a portion I'm in love with, I will share with you. She is authenticating the work that he has done. So she has become sort of a notary public for you. All right, so
by virtue of her position as
the only person, at the time, the only person until her recent issue, the only person who can appoint a notary public.
Precisely.
Because you began with that. It's only the Chief Justice who can do that. Yes. Right. So the phone lines are open. You can call us. I understand we have a first caller already on the line. Okay. So what's the name again? Hello, Theophilos.
Yeah.
Okay, where are you calling us from and what's your issue?
Samson, I'm calling you from Bupe in the Savannah region.
Okay, Bupe. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm enjoying the program. Then But I need to get some clarification from your guest.
Okay.
Else, I've read somewhere that Ghana is not a party to the Hague Apostolic Convention of 1961, where documents have to go through for more legalization before they are used abroad. I don't know how true is that, and I need your guest to clarify that for me.
Say that again. Ghana is not what?
A party to the Hague Apostolic Convention of 1961.
State Apostolic Convention of
1961. 1961.
And therefore,
where documents have to pass through for extra legalization before they are used abroad. And sometimes because of that, it creates extra burden for an extra cost for those who want to use documents that have been notarized in Ghana.
Okay.
So I just need your guest to clarify that for me.
All right, thank you. Next caller is Soa. Hello, Soa.
Yes.
You're calling us from Oyarifa, is it? Oh, did I lose Soa? Okay, we lost Soa. So let's go ahead looking at the answer for.
The issue the gentleman has brought up is one that has to do with what we call the process of legalization. It's true, Ghana is not a party to that convention. So what happens is this. If you have some documentation, let us say a power of attorney, which is to be used, say, in the UK. It is prepared, duly attested, duly notarized. You move on to the next step, to the judicial service. You get the document prepared and notarized, attested by the attestation unit of the judicial service. Then it moves on to the next level of legalization, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration. They will also certify the last issuer, that is to say, the officer from the judicial service.
3 different steps.
Then it moves on. That is not even the end. It goes to the UK. When it gets there, the Foreign Affairs Department or Foreign Affairs Ministry of the UK would also have to further certify the issuer from our Ministry of Foreign Affairs before it can be accepted to have effect in the UK. That is what we describe as the process of legalization.
Yes, so he's saying if we were signatory to the convention, then would we have been spared of all that, or rather?
We would have been. That one, the document would have gone with a certain certificate we call the apostilles.
Okay.
Which is duly filled and signed by the appropriate officer.
Okay, sorry, I've kept you on the line for a while. What's the name again? Hi, Joseph. You're calling from Kumasi. Joseph, let's hear you.
Samson.
Hi.
Yeah, that is it. I am proud of you and your program. I'm just enjoying it. So I calculate from by then. Hello?
Go ahead with your question, please.
Yes, thank you for the legal education. And I think you have made our afternoon very enjoyable. And I don't know, I would want to have your personal number. How can I get that?
Okay, so I think we can talk to you later. Thank you very much, Joshua. Joseph, who is calling us from Tamale? Hello, Idrisu. Oh, did I lose Idrisu? I lost Idrisu. Idrisu is calling us from Tamale. Idrisu, call again. Call again and you may be able to get to ask your question. Yes, so the phone lines are open. If you are watching, you can see the phone lines. You can call and ask your question. So let's make the best of the few minutes we have. Because I wanted to ask, taking all these enormous responsibilities on yourself, where you are actually supposed to refuse to act when you suspect fraud or irregularity, if you went ahead to do something and then it turned out not to be right, what are the potential consequences that you will suffer, if there is any? Gilbert, you are calling us from the OT region, is it?
Yes, please. Okay.
Go ahead with your question, Gilbert.
Yes. I want to find out how much does the book cost, because I really want to have it. And how can I get it?
Okay. Please, you heard that. How much does this book cost and how can he get a copy?
Yes, it's a reasonably priced material. It's very cheap. It costs only 1,400 Ghana cedis.
Okay, where can he get it?
You can, what are you? What did you come from?
OT region.
OT region. Oh.
Here in Accra, when I enter Legalities, it's a bookshop in the court premises, High Court. Yes. I see them there and I can pick my copy there.
Yes.
So maybe you can get a friend in Accra to buy one for you.
Also from the EPP bookshop.
EPP bookshop.
Also from the University of Ghana bookshop.
Okay.
You know, Kingdom Books.
All right.
You know.
All right.
Yes.
Right. So the question I was asking, infractions and consequences. What happens when a notary fails in their duties or acts unlawfully? Hold on again. Mahama, where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Wale.
Okay, Mahama, let's hear you.
I'm calling from Wale.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to find out, in case I want to do the statistics, at the local level, can they do it for me?
At the local level, you want to do statutory declarations, is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to do it for? What particular thing is it for? We lost Mahama.
It's about a name, a changing of a name.
You want to change your name? Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you answer that question?
Well, it can be done for you by a commissioner for oath. But for the sake of the future, I would strongly recommend that you rather make use of a notary public.
Right. So his question is, can he do it locally wherever he is?
Oh, to the extent that the
There's a notary public.
Is a duly appointed and enrolled notary public, the person is qualified to do it for you.
So, Muhammad, there are many notary publics around, notaries public in the country. A good number of lawyers are also notaries public. So you can contact them and they can get to do that for you. Alternatively, Daniel says you can get a commissioner for oath to do for you. But sometimes the advice has always been that get a notary public to do that for you. Thank you, Mahama. So I was asking about when the notary public, happens or they fail in their duties or they act unlawfully, what happens?
All right. Excuse me. There are serious consequences, and I think notaries we should take note. For example, you cannot practice without enrollment as a lawyer, and for that matter, also without being enrolled as a notary.
Hold on. Frederick, you are calling us from Koforidua quickly.
Yeah, hello.
Go ahead.
Please, I want to know how accessible is the notary public as compared to the commissioner of oaths?
Yes, because the commissioners for oaths, you see them around the court premises all the time, right?
Yes.
All right. You see them with their big umbrella, sitting under it with their typewriters. And
yeah, then in addition, I want to know, about the gazetting. Sometimes when you do after the commission of oath, you'll be advised to gazette your documents. I want to know the difference between the gazetting and the commission of oath duty. Yeah,
the gazetting is simply a duty by the public, by the republic. So there is the assembly press. It's for the government of Ghana. You go there, they have been empowered by law. So they will do a gazetting process. It comes at very little cost. They will do it. I think they now have even express services they do it and then they publish it in the Gazette, which is like the official state publication indicating what you have done. If you have done a change of name, it will be in the Gazette notice, and then they'll give you about 4 copies. So you can carry it around. If you are going to a bank and it's a name change, you give them a copy, they can see that this is the official Gazette notification. So they won't quarrel with you anymore. If it's your passport or something you are going to do, they see they won't quarrel with you anymore. Yes.
Yes. And also,
you were talking about how accessible are the notary public.
Yes. Well, you see, notary publics to begin with are lawyers.
Yeah.
So you need to find out. You look for the law offices, and then you inquire. You find out, because the way we do our work, we don't publicize ourselves. We can't go and sit under a tree and say.
It's against the law.
It's against the law.
Yeah, it's called touting in law.
Yes.
So you can enter a law firm.
Yes.
You can speak to a lawyer and ask them, are you a notary public?
Yes.
Then you may find out they are. If they are not, they can get a colleague who is a notary public for you to sort you out.
Yes.
Right.
Some lawyers have made reference to me like that.
That's right.
Because they themselves, they were not, and then they...
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so the infractions and consequences. You said you may lose your license to practice.
No, I'm saying that you cannot practice without being enrolled as a lawyer or as a notary. It's against the law. You cannot practice without a valid license, which is valid for any particular year. You may be a lawyer, but for any particular year you must have a valid license.
Every year, yes, you must renew your license.
If you are not qualified as a notary, you don't have to venture. There are consequences. It is against the law to propound false documents. Criminal consequences.
Okay.
It is against the law to falsely certify documents. Criminal consequences will flow out of that. In fact, even destruction of documents, for whatever nefarious reasons, is against the law, I can quickly make reference to, for example, Section 248 of Act 29, false declaration is a misdemeanor offense. Perjury, Section 2110, Act 29, it's a serious offense, it's a second-degree felony. False certification by a public officer, Section 249, Act 29. Destruction of documents, Section 250 of Act 29. Deceiving a public officer, Section 251, Act 29. Unlawful oath, Section 191 of Act 29.
Yes,
Any of these.
I said I was going to
criminal consequences.
I said I was going to read a portion of the foreword by Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Isaba Saki Tokono to this book, and she says, among other things, that what is noticeable in the landscape of legal scholarship is the absence of a book contextualized and dedicated to the practice of the notary in Ghana, despite a vital increase of local authors who have written and expounded on various aspects of law, responding to the burgeoning socio-economic, political, and constitutional experience. The absence of a book on a notarial practice in the Ghanaian legal system landscape is a lacuna that has been crying to be filled, and I am delighted that the author has labored to fill this vacuum. That is the testimony made for this book. Ms. Abedu, thank you very much for making time to be with us this afternoon.
The pleasure has been mine.
Right. This has been The Law. It's your legal light. It is your help law. And we had Daniel Yao Abedu, who is a barrister, solicitor, and a notary public and author of this book. Have a good afternoon.